bro, for the first time in my life. So I was at Wegmans. I think, bro, I was gonna bring this up in the chat. I was at Wegmans, right? And then so a couple came through playing Rema together, music out loud. I know Rema when I hear it. I'm looking through the windshield, and there's a couple, and they dancing together, and they both like it's gonna move, gonna move, gonna move, gonna move. And then,
but
and
that's
then
what
mind you, I looked at it and I said, I want that for the first time in my life, and I said, whoa, what the fuck is going on with me? I've never, bro, in the 25 years I've been in my life, I swear to God, God strike me right now. I've never, ever, 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 ever looked at a
this nigga
couple
just
and
passed
be
out on the
like,
podcast.
what?
I said, imagine
He
that face.
said, God strike me down if I'm lying. And he said, imagine niggas just passed out.
I was like, oh! Welcome back to another episode 34 of the O2 podcast. How y'all boys doing?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Ibra, how you doing? Okay. So if you guys can know technical difficulties in that, no episode was dropped last week. So we're going to try to get this out as soon as we
Did
possibly
you drop an
can.
episode last week?
There's no episode Saturday. What? There was nothing to drop. So
Oh.
yes. So we're going to
Last
try
week, but
to
this week.
produce this,
Okay.
get this out as soon as can, and then try to catch up. But that's besides the point. For the viewers, hear me out. So not this one, two mornings ago. If you didn't know, this is actually my second podcast I've decided to work on with somebody else, right? And so I had a podcast before, Obviously, I'm on this one because that didn't work out. But my sister had sent me a video of, not a video, just a screenshot video of something the other co-host had posted, and it had it in there, and in the caption, it was too long. I wasn't going to read all that, right? And she was like, "Oh, forgive the boy." And I was sitting here and I was like, if I sat here and gave all the cards at hand, I'm not going to actually give the cards at hand, but if I really talked about the stuff that did go on in that podcast and why I decided to leave, I don't think niggas would be sitting here actually talking about Quadro did this, Quadro did that, right? So for some background story, eventually I'm somebody that, like, I watch a lot of podcasts, like usually podcasts that make me laugh. So I was like, I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I think me and my group of friends are funny. I think we sit down and we really put our heads together, we can make some shake. Cool. At the time, no, what's funny, Quasi? What's funny?
We're listening.
But he's laughing. I want to know what's funny.
The nigga ain't allowed to laugh no more, bro. This nigga running this shit like a dictatorship now, bro. What the fuck?
Tight ship.
Like, bro.
Okay.
Also,
So then
that niggas better get this shit together.
I talk, you listen.
Yeah, when I talk, you shut
No.
the fuck up and you
But
listen.
based off the actions from last episode, I had to put my foot down. Enough was enough. Enough was enough. So the thing had started. First of all, we had started the podcast, and I think it went up to just 10 episodes, right? It went up to just 10 episodes. And in between the 10 episodes, it was like every other episode was a different issue at hand, right? Multiple different issues at hand. And every time it was like, I guess he felt he had equal say to the situation, but he wasn't putting in equal effort. I.e., I would say this. When we started, I was like, okay, we gotta get a certain amount, we gotta get a certain camera, right? He said he don't think we need a camera. We could record that joint on our phones. Cool. I was like, I respectfully disagree. But I was like, this is a non-negotiable for me, so I'm not gonna put you into this. I'll go out, use my own money, I'll get my own camera, because I was gonna get the camera anyway. I might as well just get it. But if I'm getting the camera, I should have rights to the camera. It's 100% of my money. You didn't agree with it. Cool. I go out, I get the camera. It comes back. All of a sudden, he's like, nah, the quality mad, crisp, blah, 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 blah. Cool. He's like, we got to go out and get podcast equipment. Initially, I was like, both of us are unemployed. Both of us has no means of income. Dropping this much on podcast equipment makes no sense. I said this from the beginning. He's like, that's his non-negotiable. Non-negotiable, I'm here thinking, okay, that's your responsibility. He's like, nah, I still have to go half and half with you on your non-negotiable. Move that to the side. I let that slide. When we started out as two. I'm like, what else was something I have in the beginning? I was like, we should kind of bring your little brother onto the scene. He said no. He said, my little brother is irresponsible, this, that, and the third. We can't have him on the show. Cool. Now it's like location about where we're gonna record. Ibra, you've been to my house before. I don't know if Quasi have, but you see the tight ship we run around the crib, right? You don't just walk into that crib and start hosting a podcast. you don't.
Around too.
Yeah. So like that, he was like, nah, it can't be his crib. Has to be mine. Compromise on that too. episodes. So initially, the first one drops, you get a feel for it. We're like, okay, it's something that we could keep going, right? But my thing is, okay, like here's our pause in the story is that like if you start something 50-50 with somebody, right? And it's not 50-50 effort, to what extent are you obligated to uphold that 50-50 or your end of the bargain?
I feel like a first part of me would straight up just bring up the problem first before I start taking it my way. Here's my life scenario now. I always say I address situations first. If it's not being listened to the way I feel like it should be listened to, then I take it my way. I feel like sometimes you just go quiet too much and then just take it your way. You don't address situations. So I feel like address it, and then I'm like, I address it twice. If I feel like I'm not being listened to or being heard, now it's my turn. Oh, I still got this. But anyways, if situations aren't being listened to, now it's my turn. I'm going to take it my way. Whether you like it or not, how it goes, that's your fault.
Okay.
I already told you this is a problem for me. Okay. You chose not to listen. So when you be like, I told you, you don't want to listen. So this is how I'm going to take it. But I feel like for you just jump straight to that. You never really bring up scenarios and situations where you're just like, this is actually fucking pissing me off.
Okay. Quasi?
Well, like Ibra said, just tell the person, you know. And if they're not listening, it's up to you. Me personally, do I want the podcast to keep going? Or can I take a pause?
Okay.
Because if it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, you want the person to do 50-50, but sometimes 50-50 is not really 50-50 in. Let's keep it a buck. Like this podcast we have, this shit in like 25-25, it ain't split up 25. It's more so 60 and everyone else. Let's keep it a buck. So it's at the end of the day, how much work can you take on? Ibra, we just zell this nigga 25 and then show up for the rest of the shit. We told the editors from time once or twice, like, yo, let's get our shit together. KWADWO's mainly handling everything.
But my thing is,
I disagree. I think I put in a lot of effort in
this. Go ahead,
I
disagree. Great for you. You put in however percentage of effort you have. You put in 100% of that 2%. You feel me?
but what I'm saying is the main difference between this and the other podcasts is that you guys recognize, okay, the effort is not split 50-50. So there are just some things I do that you're just like, okay, if this nigga's go ahead and do it. Like there's more leniency with there's some things that I'll do where you guys would be like, yo, if you're going to do something that involves with our money, speak up because my money's involved. At that aspect of it, because your stuff is involved, you're like, yo, if you're going to spend my money a certain way, let me hear about it. But how I post the clips, how I format it, how I do other things, nobody's ever sat here and been like, yo, you should change that. Shakir gives suggestions here and there, but like I take that,
speed it up.
Exactly, speed it up. I took into consideration, I've been speeding it up, right? With the old podcast, it would be like, it wasn't 50-50 in terms of what, okay, so the first issue at hand was setting up for the podcast equipment, right? Setting up the equipment took a little bit of time. You have to mount stuff. You got to connect some cables. The agreement was person A, who doesn't live in the studio, well, you have to come set the things up. And when you set it up, I take it apart. And that's how it was going to work. We go 50-50 on that front. Situation number one was he would come and be like, since you already live there, you should be the one that already sets up. So everything should be set up and ready to go before I get there.
I mean, that makes sense.
You live in the house. You're waiting for me to show up to set it up so you could just pop out your bedroom? Why can't you both show up and set it up at the same time?
No. It wouldn't make sense if KWADWO set it up and then he takes it apart.
Yeah. No. But initially, but the reason I made that condition in the first place is because, again, know who you're fucking with. He's not somebody that's always on time. So I was like, I'm not gonna sit here and set up, because my thing is, like, as much as I'm late, my biggest issue is I'm just in the crib. Like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm just in the house. So if you're already coming, I'm already there. I'm already ready to go. So I'm just like, you coming and setting up at a certain time, just lets you know you're in the crib. He said, no, that doesn't work. Arguing with me back and forth about it. Cool. The problem was I would set up, and then when it's time, he would show up late. And then when it's time to go, he'd be like, yo, I got to be somewhere. You take down the equipment. So now I'm setting up and breaking down the equipment. And at that point, you're not even holding up your 50-50 in the bargain. That's besides the point. We go out of the issue. We go get an editor. Editor is like, my cousin wants to edit. He wants $100 a month for the edits. And he's like, cool. I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I don't know anything about editing. I don't have the time to sit down and probably edit this video. So I'd rather just pay him the 100 because it makes our lives a whole lot easier. This nigga said no. Goes on and on and on about how this podcast is ours and we have to take initiative on the shit. Let's go and edit. I sat down and I told him no, because I was like, I know who you are. I was like, I know who you are. And I'm like, you sit here acting like we have a multi-billion-dollar corporation. We are in negative debt for this podcast. You see it talking about take ownership. Take ownership of what? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, no, that's my other non-negotiables because I know I don't have the time to edit. I know myself. I definitely know you, right? He's like, you know what? Da 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 da. Arguing with me about it. Cool. Always had something to say about my cousin as an editor. Kept on complaining all the time. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do this. But every time he delivered a video, the video's good. You were right. Didn't really pay attention to that. So episodes are going. Episodes are going. My other drawing point with the situation was that we would get on the podcast. And Ibra, you've heard him say this, the performative aspect of trying to portray the good nigga, like, yeah,
Bro,
that was
I love it, but I'm like, fuck, you grown nigga.
that was my and this the problem is it wasn't the only time. It wasn't even just on the podcast he would do this. We get around girls. You would never see somebody 180 so quick in front of your own eyes. And that used to piss me off because we get into conversation on the podcast. It's like, I remember, like, for example, I was talking about it and I was like, I don't necessarily think I'm going to end up with a Ghanaian girl because what is it? The state of the way the state of things are. It's like every time I meet a Ghanaian girl, it's like, yo, that's my homie. And it's very hard to transition from the homie to the thing, right? We had a whole discussion. You agreed on camera, right? He goes back, talks to his best friend's mother about the situation and goes, nah, I don't think we could release up because that's going to dry up a lot of avenues.
I like all type of gal. If I don't end up with a Senegalese girl, so be it.
But I'm just like, and I'm sitting here, I'm replaying the video, and I'm thinking, I'm like, am I crazy? Because I'm like in the
wrong in that one.
I'm telling you, I'm just like, but that's the problem is that every time we get into a specific topic, it's like your true person, like you're saying what you think people want to hear, specifically the female population, and I'm like. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, that is not the case. Like, whatever you sit here, you talk about, like, the point of this, you don't buy equipment and do all this stuff and put an extra effort to go and please somebody else. Like, that's not the whole issue. He like, nah, I care about my digital footprint, da-da-da-da-da, this and the third. I'm sitting here, I'm just like, we're not the fresh and fit boys, bro. We're not sitting here. What happened?
If you care about your your footprint, don't say anything. Because anything these days you're gonna say is gonna get you in trouble. Honestly, God forbid, but if niggas really ever do blow up, we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble. We're not okay, not in trouble. We've all said something that's pissed somebody off. Me, I really
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's gonna piss one particular group of people off or something like that. If that's what you want to be politically correct, whatever. Well, stay off the internet. That's the best way to make sure you don't fuck up your digital footprint. Because I refuse to get up and watch out every word I say. That's tiring. In my own crib, and I'm sitting down in the comfort of my crib, posting on the internet I pay the trunk. But hey, man. But honestly, my whole take on that whole situation is honestly between y'all whole dynamic.
Let me get there. Let me get there. So you gotta let me land. So the whole thing happens, and then I think the big like, no, there was one time that really stuck. And the thing is, my thing is, I can let stuff go as much as you don't repeat that same action. Like I can't see the same action happen again after I've decided to forgive you. So he had like, we had gotten an argument the day before, right? We have an agreement that you show up here at 10 o'clock in the morning. Cool. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, I had some things to do. I didn't really check my phone. I was like, this, that, and the third. I didn't really check I woke up, did what I had to do for the podcast, set up and everything, right? He got right up into my door and was like literally right in front of my door and said, because you didn't pick up my phone call, I didn't go up the stairs. So he decided to just leave after he's already made his all the way to my house. And then I go and I check later. He's at a sneaker store with his so-called girl best friend. I'm gonna keep putting this in quotations. And he throwing up the deuces. Sorry, why we're supposed to be out here recording the podcast, right? Like, cool. So I see that, and we had a whole situation about that. And another problem is every time we had a situation, we had to go to somebody else's mother to go resolve the situation because he's like, we needed a mediator. Cool. We go there. The lady flat out goes, Juan, you're in the wrong. You have a gentleman's agreement with somebody. You need to show up here at some point. You don't not show up because like condition, like somebody's not appeasing your conditions. Like you show up regardless. That's the whole point. That's an agreement. That's why like you say you show up at this time. Pauses. We get back to the thing. Repeats the same thing over again. But in a similar fashion of like whatchamacallit. I don't remember we were speaking about something. We were talking about cultural appropriation. Yes. This is where like the whole debate came in. Talking about cultural appropriation. And was like, we don't put enough visuals on the podcast. And in my head, I'm just like, nobody really cares about what we put on the screen. Like, it's more about like what we say and what we can engage. So like the visual stuff is like, yeah, it's good, but it's not going to make or break like an episode. He's like, no, we need to put something in there. So at the time, my cousin, our editor, he had a kid. So when he put out the content, it was like not really his best because I could tell he rushed it because his wife was in the hospital the week before. I didn't know about this, so I was a little bit hard on him. But then when I spoke to my sister, I was like, you might want to chill out. Like they took his wife to the hospital. Things aren't looking too good, this, that, and the third. Like I understand that you trying to get something done and you pay him, but like ease up on him a little bit, right? I tell this nigga this. Like I relay this information. He then proceeds like at 10 p.m. at night, 2 a.m. his time in Ghana, telling this nigga, yeah, he got to add up, he got to change it up, mix it up. And this nigga, he's like one of those obedient ass people, which I don't think he should be. But he's on the laptop at 2 a.m. in the hospital next to his wife, like, and he's putting pictures in, and he's sending him pictures. What happened?
Pause. If I no diss to your cousin, but I'm a grown ass fucking man. I got a baby on the fucking way. I let 2 kid ass niggas tell me you got to do this, you got to do that. I get you paying me, but nigga, I'll be like, watch your fucking tone before I fly over there and smack the shit out of both
it wasn't.
niggas.
No, but it wasn't like he wasn't disrespecting him or anything in that kind of fashion. But it was just like really talking about like, oh, like this was really what the best output of a video. Can you change this? Can you change this? And he's like, I think the same way you do. As in, if I was my cousin, I would have said, fuck y'all niggas. I'll see y'all need me anyway. Fuck y'all.
When y'all see me. Y'all
yeah,
like, what?
that's what. But my cousin doesn't have that attitude. It's a very noble. Like he was like, oh, like my apologies. What can I do to fix it? And he goes and he rectifies it. So he's sending the pictures, and he's sending a lot of pictures. So as he's sending it, I'm like vetoing stuff. I'm just like, he sends it, and I'm just like, he doesn't really need to put that. Not really gonna change anything. He sends a picture of white people in the Kente Ghana cloth doing this at the Capitol. And he wants to stick that in the video. So in my head, I'm looking at the video, and mind you, right before that, because you guys used to watch the podcast and support, you guys were like, it's becoming too political. And I remember Ibu, you had said, bro, let's be ourselves, bro. I'm trying to be politically correct now. Fuck that. Like, you had always told us that. So like every time we record, I'm keeping these things in mind because I'm just like, y'all the only 5, 6 niggas really enjoying the show. So why are we trying to appease a million other people that are not watching it? So I'm just like, okay, like how can we make it? He's like, we have to put that in there. It's relevant, this, that, and the third. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, that's not the case. We're not putting that in there. And he was like, he's trying to give his definition. And it's late. I was like, I'm not hearing this. Like, you could speak what you want. It's not going in the final video. So you do as you say. But my thing is, the reason in that moment he got upset was because I'm the one that was paying the editor. So who's the editor gonna listen to? The nigga that pays him or the nigga that has a lot of suggestions? So my cousin was like,
wait, but you guys are talking about cultural appropriation, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a valid picture?
But the thing is, I remember Shakira brought up the point that we're getting too political into the nitty gritty of stuff, right? And at the time, like even with this podcast, the point of it is not to really, we're not political ass people.
I can give a fuck about politics.
Okay.
Yes. But you're speaking on cultural appropriation.
No, but
I get you don't want to be political, but you're talking about cultural appropriation.
But the context behind that, like the idea was, I said that, oh, like imagine a white person wore a kente to the club. That was the context of what I said. He pulled up a picture of white people in the kente cloth at the Capitol after the whole George Floyd situation. And I was like, I know the context behind this. We don't really need to what does that have to do with, like, nothing I said relates to the picture. So why are we going to put it up and waste somebody's time to put it there? What is the point? And he couldn't give a valid excuse as to why he wanted the picture other than the fact that he said it, so it should go in there. And I was like, respectfully, your word does not hold that much weight in here. The nigga has a baby on the way. He's not trying to do all this stuff. Why are we trying to? He throws a whole fit, and he's like, got on his derriere about this and was like, nah, fuck that, da 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 da. You know what? I'll quit the podcast. And I was like, you know what? I have an agreement with you. We record 10 a.m. on Monday, 10 a.m. on Thursday. Tomorrow happens to be a Monday. I'm gonna set up and record and do my end of the bargain. If you don't show up, that's when I know it's done. Da 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 da. It's cool. Does all this stuff. So that's when eventually it got out, and then Ibra had heard about it. So like to address your point of like saying this, where you were like, oh, like what is the you were like, oh, at the end of the day, you don't respect them. And you are completely 100% right. I do not. I would sit up here as a man, and this is the last time I ever speak about this because my sister has been like trying to get me to keep talking about it. But this episode was like low-key my way of like, I'm getting out and I'm never going to speak about this. I do not, because my thing is like, and we would dive into different discussion with friendships, right? There are certain things that you do, certain things that you don't. Like, for example, my friendship with you guys. We beef damn near every day. Every day I'm catching strays. I catch strays the other day I'm sitting down, I'm just like, bro, every day somebody got something to say about KWADWO Core. KWADWO be doing this. KWADWO does this. KWADWO does this, right? But it's and I get that. But the thing is, my thing is, as much as I could take it, I could dish it equally back. If I see something, I dish it back, and we have that rapport going, right? With him, it's like he can dish out something he can't take.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm saying that I'm just like, so I'm saying that you sit here and on a day-to-day basis, from the moment this podcast is starting, because you've dished out a bunch of stuff. And the moment it turns to you, it's like you always want to sit there and crumble and go to other people and really talk about it. And the other, and my thing is, it's not that I didn't have respect for him. The more time I spent with him, the more respect I lost. And, and
You literally just said the same thing in a different way.
no, but that's what I'm saying, because you making it seem like I never had.
Nigga. All I thought he was a bitch. That's all I could think.
But it's like, and the thing is, I knew I wasn't tweaking because Ibra, you don't spend as much time with him as I do. But even the little itty bits of moment you would spend with him and we'd have these discussions, you'd be sitting down to me like, nah, this nigga, something. Like, even you shook your head. Now, imagine you had to go through this 10 times a day because you're working on a project with him. So my thing is, it was stuff that I said, and it was like, stuff, for example, and I would never understand this. He was very adamant of bringing his friend groups together. Like, I never understood that. So it was one time for his birthday, and his supposed girl best friend had threw him a whatchamacallit, birthday party, and I got invited. At the time we were really good friends. So I go there and we're really chopping it up and stuff like that. I go there. I don't really know these people. I'm not telling them my business. He goes there and before I could even say a word, tells my entire business about Jay to the mother.
Who's Jay?
I'll give it a second for it to sink. The problems I'm having with her, that I'm confined with you as a friend, you go out and you air that business out. And when he did it, I looked at him and I was, what happened?
That was your first mistake. In the relationship, why are you going outside telling someone your business? I'm not saying he's right. He's definitely wrong for that. But you are equally as wrong for telling him that information.
But Quasi, in the moment,
you don't tell us shit, and I want to keep it that way.
I'm in a relationship with them.
With her, not
we are friends.
We're friends.
We keep it that way.
I never want to be that cool with a nigga.
but my thing is, it wasn't like I was telling her like really deep, and it was like usually the stuff that like going on that pisses me off. I'll use it as an outlet, right?
That's enough. I'm not gonna lie to
you.
Okay.
And at the moment after he blurted out that information to somebody else I had completely not known, in my moment, I had the same reaction you did, Quasi. But I didn't have the reaction as like, it's my fault. I was like, it's my fault for being dumb enough to trust you with that information. That was my mistake number one. It was my fault. Because I've complained to multiple about relationships I've been in, which again, it's a habit. I'll try to work on it. Not really. I don't really give a fuck. But it's like
you should definitely work on it though.
Yeah. I know, but I've definitely done it with multiple of you guys.
Nigga, and none of what I just said.
I did. You definitely should work on it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, literally. Like, bro.
I'm trying to get to a point, bro. So and it's like I work on it, but in the moment I was like, I've told you guys stuff, and it's like I'm going around telling everybody. It's really just my close circle. I shit you not. I always say this. I have 5 friends. 1, 2, 3. My mother and my sister. That's it. Everybody else is just like I'm really cool, but I'm not really trusting you. But like, I said, yeah. Oh, my fault. It's everybody in the group chat, mom and my sister. So 6. Yes, 6. My fault, Shakes. My fault. It was like, I confide in you guys. I tell you guys something. I usually ask for advice because sometimes I really do be bugging. So I really do be needing some advice, i.e. this episode. So it's sitting there and it's like, he goes out, he blurts the business. And then I have to sit there for 2 hours talking about my relationship.
Pause, wait. Quasi's neurons is rubbish.
No. Okay, he said, I have 5 friends. 1, 2, 3. My mom and my sister. Who was the third?
Shakir.
But he did. But you asked him how about Shakir, and then he said 6.
Because I forgot Kuso.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why was that?
No, but you forgot 2. That means you forgot 2.
Quasi. But
okay, move on. No.
Basically, people I really feel comfortable going to and really telling and confiding in stuff, right? And it's been that way for a while. So my thing is, like, if I'm confiding you in something, the problem isn't to go out and tell other people. Like, there's a reason I told you. In a space of comfort, he feel himself, he blurted out that information. I had to sit there for 2 hours and say it. Cool. Like, in that moment, I was like, I brushed it off, this and the third, but then every time we had to go over, like, the situations kept coming up. And then, like, my thing is, I don't really like to talk about my situations like that with people I'm not really that comfortable with. So, and then, like, it kept acting up, and because they knew the information, I had to involve in conversations. But it was a common trend of him doing that situation where we get in front of the public, and every time you see an attitude change, especially when there are women around. And I was like, you couldn't pay me to respect this. Like, I'm myself unapologetic regardless of who is around. I might sit here and put on an act or two, but at the end of the day, my true colors are going to show. I'm not sitting here putting on an act for nobody. When we go around, it's like, and the thing is, you've heard him verbatim say this. I do this for the validation of women, which was insane to me.
Bro, like,
at least he's honest.
No. That's not honesty I want to hear. I don't want to. I don't, bro. Because
Hey,
niggas like that scare me, bro. Because
exactly. That's exactly why you need him to be honest.
but honestly, because no, because it's like I've been around
Tell me
niggas like
so I
that, and
know.
they've done me wrong when it came to women. So I'm like, you know, when
You're
y'all
telling
never
me.
get involved,
You're
just
telling
know
me.
these niggas is about to turn crazy.
So I'm.
I mean, he's also done the same thing, not Quadro, the subject of this matter. So tell
and
me so I know, you know?
and then there'd be moments where like he'd be like, "Oh my god, I remember when this happened, but I didn't tell you in the moment." I'm like, a year after the fact, what the fuck am I doing? Not even a year, 4 years after the fact, what the fuck am I doing with this information? So it would be little moments where like that where you. So when you were like, when you guys were like, I don't respect him, and I was hesitant at first, I was like, no, you're right, but you cannot sit here and tell me he didn't give me every reason not have that respect for him because he was moving like up. So when the whole situation had happened, my whole situation had happened, he threw a fit. And I could go back and show the Telegram message. I really didn't say much. I really just sat back and said, "You want to leave? Cool. It is what it is." Like at the end of the day, originally I was like, I could sit on the my original idea was to do a podcast with my mom. But I was like, that's too much willy-nilly.
That would be cool though. Think
we
about it.
would have blew up a lot quicker than this.
Yeah,
We would blew
way
up a lot
quicker.
quicker than this.
Way
quicker.
quicker.
I had one video with my mom and we got 350K views. One video. We would have taken the world by storm.
We go milk this shit.
Bro, what? I always say that like when we eventually, if we ever take that trip to Ghana, we have a podcast episode, we got to bring Momski on the show, bro. Oh,
Your mom?
I know.
Because my mom isn't going anywhere near this. Oh, okay.
No, my mom would love to come on the show,
My
meet you
mama
guys
looked at us
officially.
like we lost our minds.
But my mom is at the stage where it's like she's just like life is life, right? So situations like that, and then I'm missing that. Reminded me of something. Oh, another thing, he wanted to bring guests on the show, and at the time I'm like, we have plenty of guests. I'm like, Ibra could be a guest. Quasi could be a guest. Dua could be a guest. Liu could be a guest. We have multiple different people that make sense. He wanted to bring the best friend's boyfriend as the first guest to the show. And he was telling me this,
The
and I was
girl he was trying to get.
big man. Big, like every time I think about this shit, I was like, I should have cursed him on that elevator. I should have taken that diplomatic approach I took. Because I was like, that literally made no sense to me. Because he was like, I'm comfortable with him. He's very smart. I'm like, nigga, that's you. You forget you share this podcast with somebody else. So if you bring in somebody here, I'm not entirely comfortable with. And he's like, well, this is my non-negotiable. And I was like, respectfully, it's my crib. Like I decide who walks in and who doesn't.
Respectfully.
That's the trump card. Is like
I remember because I was like, I have to argue with my mom and sister every day about every time we record to try to even keep you through the door. How am I going to explain somebody else we don't know walking into the crib, sitting down there for an hour and making other people who pay rent in the house? I was like, I don't pay rent in this crib. If they say no, I was like, I'm not even going to ask to get the no. I know it's going to be a no. He's like, nah, you're not hearing me out of the dot through a whole fit. Then a third, cool. So eventually the whole podcast ends. He doesn't show up. I set up and do everything as recorded that Monday. I set up the equipment, do everything. He doesn't show up. That's my cue to be like, okay, there's lines that I cross. I'm not somebody that will cross the line first. But once you cross the line with me, you can't get mad about why I decided to take it. And I knew I was going to take it somewhere he wasn't going to like. Because I knew that. You're my friend. I know you. So when the whole thing happened, I was like, I'm going to take an approach that's beneficial for me. And to this day, I still stand 10 toes by that. I wouldn't change a single thing about what I did. Because we have an agreement that we're going to do a podcast. We're going to stick it through. We're really going to see where this goes, make it a regular thing. You decided to break that agreement. Whatever obligation I have to you past this point, that's also done. So you can't be upset about how I decide to move after this. Cool. He comes and he's like, he speaks to our so-called mediator. He's like, we need to hash things out and sit things out. I looked at him and I said, I'm not showing up. I was like, we don't have a podcast anymore. Why am I still going out and doing this? So like time goes by and then eventually the podcast equipment, he wants to split it in half. And I was like, we can't really split shit in half. One person has to get it all. Cause it's like, imagine selling a computer central processing unit and a monitor and be like, we want to split that in half. Who gets what? Who gets what? So I'm telling him, and he's like, nah, bro, or give me the equipment and I'm going to return it back to the store. I already called them. I'm going to get a refund. All it has to be is like an original box. I'm like, in this house, we don't keep original packaging. Once it walks through that door, we throw that shot to make space. Called my mom and tried to get my mom to be like, this is the part that blew me. Called my mom and said, yeah, I tell my mom this. My mom called me right up and said, yo, why this nigga bugging? Like, my mom was like, he's like, he talking about, I need to go to 14th Street with recommend. Who the fuck you think I am?
The fact that he called your mom and told her to bring the equipment.
And I'm just like, you don't really know my family well enough, because in my family we have an unspoken agreement. Whoever, it don't matter who we beef with, right or wrong, we have to stand up and beef behind him. In closed doors, we could talk about it, but in public, we never go out looking like in the unified front. So the whole thing happens, and then eventually some time blows by, and I stop speaking to him. And there was something you said last episode, Ibra, that really resonates with me. My thing is, as you know, I care as long as I keep on arguing with you. The minute I decide to wake up and you can't get me to raise my voice, I understand, I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care. I don't give a damn. And it's like, you said it, you don't occupy any space up here. In my world, when I wake up, in my world, you don't even exist.
You don't exist.
You don't.
You don't, because it's like, the thing is, I feel like as you get older now, life just gives you a lot more to do. So it's like, I feel like somebody says, honestly, see yourself like a phone, like a charger, like a battery. You can't occupy space for a lot of things. So when certain things happen, I'm say like, bro, I don't care, bro. Like this doesn't move me forward.
Like,
so, ouch.
It really, and at the time, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit sad about the podcast ending, because I really do enjoy it. Like, we wasn't making any crazy numbers, but it was like a way to, like, you wake up and you like create something. And at the time, mine ain't have no job, so it really felt like my job at the time. I felt like I was really doing something. So I'm not gonna lie, as a real nigga, that really hit deep when it decided to end. I thought about, I was in my room, lights off in the dark. My sister came home and said, nigga, we don't do depression in this house. Get your ass up and go do some shit. So, and it was that moment in time my sister was like, okay, the podcast, like, it was really because I was like, I don't have a co-host, I don't really have anybody to do it. My sister was like, bro, like, you can either sit here and be a bitch, or you can get up and make some shake. And at this point, like, you have nothing to do. So she was the one that was like, my sister was even the one I was like, yo, I would even get up there and do a podcast with you. But I looked at her and I was like, you're kind of lame. Not you. So, but I love my dog though. But I was like,
lame ass nigga.
I was like, yeah, I was like, no, I was like, the fun and laughs I want to have. Me and my sister do laugh and enjoy it, but I was like, in a podcast setting, like, I feel like you would be like a one or two, like a recurring guest. You really can't be the main host of this. And I was like, to be honest, you really are the breadwinner of this family. We can't have your digital footprint fucked up. We actually need to preserve you for the betterment of the rest of us. So cool. Then my mom came into question, and I was like, well, my mom, she's not gonna understand what's going on. Like, eventually she might get up there and say something crazy that get us both out there and kicked out there, like, in my digital footprint. So I was like, cool. So I suggested you guys, and eventually, I always say this, I really do appreciate y'all boys. You know, as much as I be shit out, bro, a nigga can't have a heartfelt sentiment, bro. I really do appreciate you guys for putting up with me and decided to show week in and week out for us to do this podcast. I really do, because I didn't really have any other options after the fact. Right?
Nigga said we his last options. The fuck?
No, you guys, like,
you heard that, right?
Then thought about his sister, then thought about his mother, then said, oh, those lame
the
ass
niggas
niggas
I've been friends with since sixth grade. How
The
about them?
niggas I don't travel with. Yeah, we'll be alright.
I don't go nowhere with.
Don't do that. Because initially I had asked you guys, said no. You guys said no. Initially you guys changed your mind. I didn't ask you, but I asked Ibra. He said no.
You see?
Yeah. So, but I didn't know. But you were the one that hopped on first, and then like, nigga, everything came.
The moment we went to Shakir's house and we were in that attic, I was like, yo, this would be a great spot for a podcast.
Nah, real talk.
Mine's ain't have vision back then, but we're here now. The second best time to plant the tree is now. So yeah, the first time would have been So we did all this, and then like, so I'm telling you guys all this to say, what are your unfiltered, like, because you guys give me advice, and I do really value you guys' opinion on certain things. So I want to hear your both pissies, because my sister, the whole thing happened, and then I guess he wrote a caption or whatever. My sister was like, you should forgive him, and da-da-da-da. But in my head, I'm just like, I don't do that. Like, my thing is, you only get one real chance to really cross me past a certain line. And once you move past a certain line, I don't really feel the need to sit here and be saying, y'all know I'm not fake. Y'all have known me since the sixth grade. If I don't like you, you will know I don't like you. Like, I'm not making that. I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and pretend I don't like you. I've been giving niggas a silent treatment since I came out the womb. Y'all know this. Talk to me.
So what does forgiveness mean to you?
That's what but my thing is, forgiveness for me meant that, like, I don't harbor any negative emotions towards you. Why? Because I blame myself. Because I knew the person I decided to hop on that podcast with. I knew who you were.
No. I'm asking forgiveness in general. What does that mean to you? Not forgiveness for the person.
I haven't forgiven anybody yet, so I'll get to you. I'll get to you when I get to you. Okay.
Me personally, forgiving someone doesn't mean you're gonna forget it, right? Or how you felt. And do you ask God for forgiveness from time to time?
I do.
Okay. So if you're asking God for forgiveness, and for the shit you've been doing, God has been forgiven you. What makes you think you can't forgive another person within God's world?
No, but
Hallelujah!
No, there is no real
Preach!
there is no real but to it.
brother,
Like,
brother,
I
brother, put on
understand
that
their
polo.
feelings there.
Short ass
I understand their
hallelujah.
feelings there. But literally in the Bible, you're Christian, right?
Okay,
What does it
but my,
say?
my thing is, but hear me out, Quasi. My thing is, I forgave him the moment he decided to have that outlash. Hear me out, Let me land.
So-
Let me land. But my definition of forgiveness is like, again, as I was saying, I don't harbor any
Not
negative
about it.
emotions towards you. Like, if you've noticed, every time we've hopped on the call with Dua and his name has come up, I've been deadly silent. I have not said a word. This is the first time in months I've decided to get out. That's because I had a conversation with my sister and I was like, it makes sense for a good segment. I've not said a word about him. I've not, like, all that hating ass energy that I was not said a word, move on completely. That's me forgiving you. But in forgiving you, you don't hold any space in my head. In my world, when I wake up and I'm like, these are the people I reach out to, the people I care about, you're not no longer in that space. And somebody said the best, I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
But
So it's like,
at the end of the day,
what's up?
at the end of the day, you could forgive someone, doesn't mean you should forget it. You're just not forgiving them for what they've done. And why you are not.
Like, what's up, Bieber?
I say from my aspect, to be honest with you, it's one of those things where it's like podcast wise, it's just one of those things. He's like, I know I can't do a podcast, but friendship wise, I don't think you should end it over because at the end of the day, bro, it's just a podcast. It's podcast wise. That's why when that whole shit was going down, I'm like, I'm not picking sides because at the end of the day, this is just two niggas just being petty with each other.
No.
So I'm like, it's just a podcast. So I'm like, it's one of those
Battle
things
of
where
the petty niggas.
yeah, I was like battle of the petty niggas, and I know Quadro was gonna win anyways. But it's one of those things where it's like, for example, like perfect example, my little brother. I love my little brother. I don't let him what's it called? I was like I love my little brother. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
But I don't give him anything of mine that I value. For example, my laptop. I never gave him my laptop to use, ever, not once. I had probably 4 or 5 laptops in my lifetime. He's never not touched once. He has not used it once. And when he asks, it's a strict no. Because why? I know he's going to fuck it up, give it back to me, and be like, what? What's the problem? Because I know that aspect of you is like, okay, I know, don't do this with this nigga. You could do everything else in the world, but when it comes to ventures and doing certain things, I'm not doing it with you. And I'm going to tell you that. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things, like, for example, perfect example, like with the driving thing. I'd rather have Quasi drive than you drive. So it's one of those things where it's like, you my homie, but I'd rather have this homie do this with me because I know how you be. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I also feel like it's one of those things where that's my friend. We're cool. We're never going to do any ventures ever because we did it. I see how you are. I don't want to deal with that. But my take for both of you guys on your end, you need to respect him. He need to stop acting like a bitch. like both of you.
Do you hold any grudges towards him?
But that's what I'm saying is that, like, Ibra, you're like, oh, this is happening over the podcast. But the thing is, when the thing happened, it was, and you said, maybe this is a bad behavior on my part, and I'll take accountability for it. There was a lot of built up things that was not even about the podcast that I sat here and let slide in the name of trying to keep good rapport for the podcast that I didn't talk about. But also, to be fair, the reason I didn't really like having discussions with him is because discussions with him never went discussions like how I have with you guys. We're boys in the sense of like, we have a problem, you bring it up, we could bicker back and forth, but at the end of the day, we know someone's in the right, someone's in the wrong. With him, he wants to sit down, delve into it, and talk about it. Like, dude. And I, like, in my head, I'm like, I can't, like, every time there's an issue, it takes about 3 hours to get through it. And I was at my wits' end. I was like, there's no point. Yeah. Like, things like my sister, and you met my sister before, very antisocial. She don't like when people pop in the crib unannounced. And he constantly doing certain shit. And you tell me, he like, but bro, I'm in the neighborhood, I can't come over. Nigga, what does...
No.
I've been around Ibra's neighborhood a decent amount of times.
Yes.
Do I show up to his door like, yo, open up? I'm around the neighborhood. Nigga, no! I go about my day.
But that's what I'm saying. But it's like certain habits, like, because he thinks it works for one group of friends, he thinks it applies to everybody. And it does not.
That nigga lives in his own world for real, man.
So, like, it was multiple things where I'm just like, and again, during that time, I really remember that one time we got in something, and because we were like, this nigga stay asking for ridiculous ass favors. And I literally asked him, and I was like, "What is the one thing you've done for me for the level of mercy I had?" He said, he looked at me and said, "I haven't done nothing yet, but you know the tables could flip at any moment."
Nah, I think when he asked, when he said, "Yo, you think Quasi come and pick me up from Pennsylvania or some shit?" I was like, "He's not doing that shit." I was like, "You with your ridiculous fucking favors? What the fuck?" I'm like, "Why do you think?" I was
Wait,
like,
I think
"Yeah."
I think you said that shit in the chat. I looked at my phone. It's like, nigga, I'm in Cortland. If I don't like driving home, or even to Albany, which is 2 hours away, what makes you think I'm gonna wake up, drive to Pennsylvania just to grab you?
Because it's one of those things. Because he probably think he's like, "Oh, he did it for Quadro, so he probably do it for me." It's like I'm like, "Yeah, that's Quadro."
That was a trip we took.
Yeah, that was a trip.
I had multiple people, and I just wanted to see. I ain't gonna wake up and do that shit out of the greatness of my heart. The fuck?
But even that's what I'm saying. Like certain things, I'm just like, it's been happening, and the thing is, it's a habit and not something you can really talk to him about. Because every time you talk to him about it, he tries to navigate with you between right or wrong. Because he'll really the type of to be like, "Well, we're Christian and we're all supposed to love one another, so we're supposed to be driving to Pennsylvania for each other." Like, but that's the thing. Like he's like the thing is he's so concerned about trying to be so politically right and like differentiating between being like the pillar of morality that he forgets like that's an issue in and of itself. So
honestly,
go.
yeah, I remember I told him when
know-
he said that shit. When he was, I was like, "Damn, how's that shit going for you, huh?" I was like, "Look at you, that shit ain't going well." I was like,
You know what I think?
Certain things in life, to be honest with you, I just feel like I don't care about morality. Even if it seems wrong, I'm going about it my way. At the end of the day, you know what just reminded me of when when I see Travis and I was like, I could drive to Binghamton, and then he was like, "All right, I'm like, whoa, nigga, I'm not your personal driver. I'm just doing you this one fucking favor. That's it, one fucking favor." This nigga started planning on. He's like, "Who can I bring in the car?" I'm like, the amount of people that can fit. I'm not doing.
Because why the fuck would you bring any more than that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, nigga, I'm not your personal fucking driver. He's like, "Okay, we could go to Utica, we could go to Binghamton." I was like, hey, we're gonna stop right there. You pick one and you get one. You don't get two. I was like, I'm driving you there and I'm going about my day. That's it. The rest, that's for you to fucking figure out.
What's the name? You know what I think? What would make a really good segment?
What?
We should have him on the pod.
Absolutely not. And that's my non-negotiable. I'm putting my foot down. We could have him there, but it's not going to get produced.
Facts. Have him here.
No, but we really should though. Think about it. We are getting Quadro's side. I would like to hear the person's side.
Yes.
You know,
politically navigate through that shit.
If you guys,
I want to be the mediator. You want to be your co-host? Oh, it would be a thrill. And we should do this shit live.
Be like, "Welcome to the Royal Rumble." We gonna do it to
So Quadro, how are you feeling today?
Are you like Quadro?
I bet he's gonna put up the podcast. Quadro, how do you feel about the situation? Like, Zaman. Why would you let him talk to you like that? Would you say you are a bitch? Why would you let him talk?
Consider yourself less of a man because he's talking to you like
that? I don't think even if we extended the invitation, he would come on here to try to defend his side.
I'm not.
I don't think he would.
That would be interesting though. But
it would be interesting, but I don't think he would. I also don't think.
I think just forgive the dude, move on with your life.
But I think honestly, it's one of those things that's forgive him. Like for me, it's just one of those things. If I realize something, it's just like I'm just not gonna do this with you. We're cool, but like when it comes to certain departments of stuff, we're not doing that. And that's what it is.
But it's the whole Lord kind of like I don't see a reason in talking to you specifically if you're gonna like put on this whole facade.
So forgive him.
Oh yeah, then again, Quasi, he's right. What's it called? He's right in the fact of it's not just about the podcast stuff. He was mad. It was just him as a person that he's mad about.
I know.
Yeah, that you can.
I know. Like we all know you're not gonna talk to this person. No. We all know whatever type of friendship, shit has diminished. Just forgive the dude and move along with your life like you have been right now. But just without the hate in your heart.
No,
me personally, if I don't forgive a nigga and I see them, I think about spitting on them. So, but the thing with me, I don't have anyone I hate. Because at the end of the day, I look at you and I don't like you. I just don't give a fuck about you.
No, but
I'm gonna see you. I was like, all right, cool. Whatever you done to me, cool. I ain't gonna forget what you done to me. Shit, I'm gonna talk shit in front of you. But,
but that's my
I
thing.
forgive you for what you've done.
no, the forgiveness comes from the part that like I don't have nothing much or negative to say about this situation. Like before, when initially first started, I was in my feelings when his name come, I used to, but like it used to be a different story. But now it's like you don't hold any space in my head. Like
You
in my
haven't
head,
forgiven him. You just pivoted.
that is forgiveness. Like
That is not
how,
forgiveness.
what is forgiveness? What in this
No,
situation?
Quadro, the way you're describing it is, in the beginning, I used to see you, I used to talk shit. Now, I just don't talk shit. Forgiving them? Have you let the situation go?
I've let chat. The only reason the situation just came up right now, my sister literally 2 days ago, literally pulled up the thing for me and was like, "You should forgive me." And then we had a discussion about that, and I was like, "Oh, that'll make a great segment. I'm gonna ask you guys what you think about it." That's literally it. Prior to that, it's never come up.
The way you're talking about it, it just seems like you pushed it to the back of your mind or something. Like, something you
it's
don't
like-
think about.
No, but it's like it's the forgiveness comes like there's nothing like me and you have nothing we have left to discuss. That's the thing. Like there's like it will never be like let's say for example like a situation happens or like for example let's say I'm like Emmanuel's getting married or whatever and like we all have to like go out to that situation, right? I'm not gonna see you and like want to dab you up and be like, yo, what's up? Like you know how that's gonna be. I'm gonna look you up and down. I'm not even gonna look like you can be 2 feet away from me and like my eyes are just somewhere else. Like and y'all know how my my walk past you game like I've never met you. Like that's the stage I'm at with the situation. It's like, and that's the whole thing. And the thing is, we don't like doesn't like the whole idea of being cordial. No, doesn't exist.
Not in my
You know
world.
I don't fuck with you. I know you don't fuck with me. We keep it at that. And that's the
like-
situation.
Because at the end of the day, I am the emperor of my life. If I don't like you, I don't want to be cordial with you, and that's my stake. You can't do shit about it.
Bro.
And that was the situation. But no,
You can't do anything about it.
but my
And
sister.
the thing is, Quasi, I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. But I think it's one of those things with people where it's like I've learned to let people deal with situations how they want to deal with them, especially
Yeah,
if they're not hurting. Especially if they're not hurting nobody. If
I ain't
don't
gonna
like
tell
you,
this
bro,
nigga what to do. This nigga's his old man. I
Yeah.
can give a suggestion. That's
Yeah.
what I tell everybody. At the end of the day, you could tell me all you want. If I want to
am
listen to you,
judge,
I'ma listen.
jury,
If I don't,
police,
I don't.
army, navy, every source of power in my life. Man, don't want to talk to you, bruv. You don't
I
get
control
no
what I
conversation
control.
from me. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's not a part of my life that I think holds any significance. I think the only thing it just really showed me, at least with the podcast phase, was that like it's something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I think it's feasible. It's something I could do, and it's something that really requires a lot of effort. That's all I took from that situation. Point blank, period. But it also taught me that like with my thing, one thing I really value with people that I'm friends with has to be respect. Is that I can't be friends with you if I don't respect. Like a part of me has to see myself in you in some way, shape, or form. And if you're exhibiting certain qualities that I don't necessarily agree with, or you do something where I'm just like, given the same opportunity, I would never do some shit like that to you. Because, for example, like, even with the whole situation, there is nobody on this planet that could come to any of you people in the group chat and decide to talk shit about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because again,
I'll probably turn on voice memo.
it's not even just voice memo, but it's like nobody that has a problem with me is comfortable enough to come confide in you about me, because you should automatically know it's going right back to me when that happens, right? So if it gets to the point where it's like I see people are coming to you with stuff about me, to what extent am I really considering you as a friend? And I'm not, and I learned my lesson real quick. You do not wait for the snake to bite you for you to realize that was a snake to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
Can't disagree with that.
Yup. Mm-hmm.
And
Nah, niggas that really gone through should be spitting, bro.
Nigga said,
Think about it. Think about it.
Said, write that down. Write that down.
Write that shit down.
Write that shit down, nigga.
like, and it's like even the moments where I have to sit in it and think about it, it's just so many things that I let slide up into that point where it's like I'm like, I should have.
Problem.
I know, and I'm working on it. So certain things I'm just like, I'm not gonna wait to it. But no, like I told my sister, I was like, the forgiveness is already there in the sense that like I could truly look in my heart and be like, I don't harbor any negative emotions. Like I don't feel the need to sit here and be like, I hate this man. That's not true. Because at a certain point that was my homie. So I'm not gonna say and braid you, but it's just like certain parts like I've spent enough time with you to know who you are as an individual, and I don't think the things you do, the things you subscribe to, eventually that's gonna cause a problem somewhere down the line anyway. So why are we gonna sit here and beat around the bush and pretend to do all this? Like his mom talks to my mom, mom's talks to sister, sister talks to me, like stuff happened. But as far as me and you having like that's not there. Like that's and it's like that's the same thing. Like for example, in our friendship, we could think about times where y'all have been there for me, I've been there for y'all. We start naming times I've been there for him. What time have you been there for me? You don't know when the tables are gonna turn. And I'm like, the tables are never gonna turn. Like that's the issue. So it's just certain things where I'm just like, I don't feel the need to like really like, because with my parents, their idea of forgiveness is saying, oh, you have to go out and publicly speak to him and make the air clear. Let me phrase
Can we
that.
record it? Can we like follow you guys like TMZ? That would be cool, guys. That would be very cool.
So I just wanted to come give you guys a 2 cents, but this is the last time I'll ever speak about this.
I think the takeaway from this whole conversation we've had, this whole shoot for you, Quadro, shut the fuck up when you're in relationships. Stop telling other people. Just shut the fuck up. That's
honestly,
what you should take from this.
With Quadro, here's the thing with Quadro, though. It's a middle ground with him. Like,
no, I know, but like you gotta start recognizing certain things, you know, like you could tell people stuff you do with your partner, but certain things, just shut the fuck up.
Nah, because there's certain things he does, he thinks it's normal in his head. And
No,
then if you look at him, you're like, how the fuck was you doing that?
It will never come with like the personal nitty gritties of like stuff we've talked about. But usually, if a situation happens, and I usually come more with situations, not with personal nitty gritties. Yeah,
I feel like everyone does that.
It's just situations. I never went with him about personal. It was a situation thing. Let me clarify that. It was a situation thing that was happening. But I still don't think that was his place to do it. But no,
that's definitely not his place to do it.
Especially I was having a conversation with this one friend that I have now, and like it's like we were talking, and then she was like, you as a man, Quadro, you don't know how to open up to people. And usually at first I'm like, nah, none of that. And she was like, no, like you don't know how to open up. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, every time we speak to you, every time we have something, you always love to keep things at surface level. And it's like, I don't necessarily expect you to share everything, but I could tell you have your guard up on certain stuff. And I went home and I was like, shorty's chatting, like, leave me alone. Right. And then
can we blame you?
And then we were,
I feel like every woman is like that, bro. Like
no, but like hold up, like, but with like I'm leaving out context, but no, not that context. You want that shit. You want no, like she no. She hear me out. She really is my friend, but like we were like the reason I said why because like we usually talk, and when we usually talk, she usually opens up to me about certain stuff. Like she tells me stuff, like showed me stuff about like her parents, her upbringing, and stuff like that. But I don't really usually do the same. And then she was talking about it, and then she like. We were like working together and she like looked at me. She was like, today, I want you to tell me about a traumatic experience that happened in your life in the last 5 years. Like, Ibra, there's context. There's context I'm missing. When the camera goes off, I will explain. And then I was like, okay, so I brought up the whole, backstab situation. And she was like, have you ever thought about the fact none of your relationship works because you don't feel like you've never been able to open up your heart and trust another individual because you are scared that's going to happen to you again? Hold up.
Yeah, she's not wrong in that part.
Yeah. And she was like, or that's going to happen. But you know me, you know me, I gotta synthesize the information after the fact to really comprehend it. So we didn't really speak for like 2 weeks on end. And the other day I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God. She might have hit a nail.
Then it hit me.
It really hit me like
right.
I was like, wow. Because she was like, and because I told her about that situation, and she was like, okay, like describe to me your situations. And I was like, every situation I've had, every relationship I've been with after that fact was because of the fact that I couldn't fully bring myself to trust another individual. And it's not just a woman. It's like I'm struggling making friends now because I don't want to open up to another individual. And I'm just like, wow, Quadro.
See why niggas said go to therapy?
Hey man, mine's been through a lot, but mine's no storyteller, bruv. Mine's no story. Like the reason I don't go to therapy is like I just think I have to find avenues of fixing it on my own. Like I don't think me sit because what would be how's that going for me?
Shakir said this best. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and think it's gonna change.
But it's not the same thing. It's like prior to recently, I've not had the self-actualization that the issue is actually stemming from me, myself, and me, myself only.
But also
Quadro.
too, question:
Quadro.
you would have, how would you have come to this realization without somebody else? You didn't come to this realization on your own.
Fuck
Somebody
all
else
that.
told you this.
Quadro, you've told us this before, months ago. What you just said, you've
I
told
know-
us this.
I have
and
not.
now you're
I
telling
have
us
not.
the same thing again.
I have not in the same
Yes, you
context
have.
of.
I
Yes, you
as in-
have.
This last
Yeah,
Different wording, but you said the same exact thing.
I must have not been here for that because I don't remember.
No, but
It wasn't on the call, it was in the group chat.
when I spoke to you guys
We
in
were
that
all on
context,
his ass.
no, but hold up, time out. Let's flag on the play. When I spoke to you in that context, I was like, I don't think I'm necessarily built out to be in a relationship. I'm just gonna forego all women. This not the same context. In this context, I'm saying the issue here. Oh,
But yeah.
the issue
No,
the issue here is that I have trouble like opening up in general. So it comes off as an and you've seen this firsthand. It's like the issue is the issue is not that like there's no affection there. Because I don't want to open up, I have a showing affection, and you saw that when you visited, and the last time you saw me with a significant other, you saw that. But the situation didn't have anything to do with the fact that like it wasn't like I don't. But it's the fact that I don't want to open myself up to that again, because when you sent that picture of me and my little not too long ago, I was like, that was the last time I physically remember me fully opening my heart to somebody else. And in that moment, it went well. It went great up until it wasn't.
I'll kill a bitch.
You know, and then honestly,
Y'all
in that
got the
situation-
heart for this. I don't. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
honestly-
right now.
Sure, when you said I look like I own a law firm. Yeah, like that.
That was Al Homie's.
No, when you sent that and I like saw it, like afterwards, I was like, in that moment, the reason I was dressed up, like I was genuinely just happy. Like I was like,
I told you, bro. I remember bro, the first time me and Shakir, that's the first thing me and Shakir said to each other. I literally looked at him. We was in the crib. I was like, he don't like her.
but it's not. It wasn't the fact. I will say this. I genuinely had feelings, but it was the fact that every time I felt
you did. There's a difference between liking somebody.
No, but that's the thing. I liked her as in when I looked at her, like I felt something in my heart. That one I can't. As much as I want to deny it, and Willie, she watches this episode a lot. Little Miss Cape holds a place in my heart. The issue is every time I felt like I was opening up to Little Miss Cape. Stop. Every time it felt like I should have opened up to her or like breached that new part of the relationship, I always felt held back because I would think back to that moment until you sent that picture. That picture, honestly, as much as you apologize, I thank you for bringing that picture up because I looked at myself and like me now, I was like, I can't fathom why the hell I was dressed like that. But I was happy. Babe said I look good, so I put it on. And she literally, I remember she literally pulled me to the side and was like, you look so good. Can I take a picture of you? And like took multiple pictures, was like, and I was like, in that moment, did I know I looked stupid? Absolutely. Cause I knew I looked, because my mom had bought me that coat 3 years ago and I never put it on. But like in that moment, I didn't really care what I looked like. And I had Babe's hand in my hand walking through the streets of a town I'm not even from. And I was like, in my head, I was like, and it was a moment of vulnerability. I was happy and all that. But after the events that I went up to, how do you expect a man to just split this and do this to everybody else, knowing that this might be the potential outcome?
Like
getting help.
That's like low key. That's traumatizing. Like imagine, like that is traumatizing though. Like being that level of open to somebody, and in a heartbeat they just switch up on you like that. That can do, as tough as I am. That would do some damage to me. I might go get a gun.
I ain't got a heart for it.
I might go get a gun. You know what I mean? That's why honestly,
I gotta move out the city. I gotta move out the state or probably the country. I just ain't got a heart for it. I can't see you after that. I'll tell you right now, I cannot see you after that.
But real talk, like honestly, that's why I was like with Quadro, I was like, bro, me and him are on the same tree of dating when it comes to dating right now. Completely opposite sides of the tree. Just completely just stretched out a completely different way. My thing is, I just don't feel like jumping through all those hoops. I know how to go about it. Quadro is he's just like, fuck all that shit. Fuck it. I want it.
I really like. I don't think it's. I really like. I see people who are like in love, and I see like that whole situation. I'm just like, wow. I wonder when that's gonna open up for mine. You know,
bro. For the first time in my life, so I was at Wegmans. I think, bro, I was gonna bring this up in the chat. I was at Wegmans, right? And then so a couple came through playing Rema together, music out loud. I know Rema when I hear it. I'm looking through the windshield, and there's a couple, and they dancing together, and they both like, it's Skelebu. And then mind you, I looked at it and I said, I want that for the first time in my life, and I said, whoa, what the fuck is going on with me? I've never, bro, in the 25 years I've been in my life, I swear to God strike me right now. I've never, ever looked at a couple.
This nigga just passed out on the podcast.
Whatever.
I said,
He said, God strike me down if I'm lying. And he said, that nigga just passed out. I was like, oh! I believe more! It's right.
For the first time in my life, I see, and I said, I'm like, wait a minute. So honestly, that part, I'm like,
hey, we all just want happiness, bro.
I was like, we all just want, but it's like, at least for me, there isn't like, because I'm like, I will never know the intentions of somebody else. I know my intentions. I can never know the intentions of somebody else. And that's the part that really, because now every time I look at a woman, I'm just like, what's going on up in there? I was going up in that little head of yours. Who are you eyeing?
That's honestly, this nigga's motto.
It's one of those things though, like I always think about it like soccer in a sense. Like soccer is a great like analogy for life. You know you can get injured playing. You still get up and play it every day. Like you are unbeatable and unbreakable. And even if you do get injured, you're back at it playing again tomorrow. That's just life, bro. Nah, that's the best. And
I would say though, you should take time to heal.
Take time to heal. You take time to heal. And then you come back.
Injuries are going to come back
because the injuries are going to come back. But when you rehab the right way. You just haven't been rehabbing.
But it's not having been rehabbing. Some
I know a nigga in
some injuries,
in
bro. Some injuries are career ending.
You're 20.
I'm saying some injuries. And that's what I'm saying. It's not like some injuries. It's like it's gotten to the point.
Okay, I got a question for you, Quadro. What do you want more? To find a woman you'll be happy with, or to let the woman who made you unhappy keep controlling your life?
I can't let her get one up on me. That's another thing.
Okay then.
Let her get the one up.
So also, then you know your answer.
Also, I feel like my take on that is like part of it is it's like it's one of those things where I feel like with relationships, and this took me a while to learn, it's one of those things where you gotta learn how to know no matter what happens in this life, I'm gonna be okay. Whether a woman comes in, go, this person is not the source of my being. And I think people need to get there first. And it took me a while for me to get there. Like no human being, I could love you, care for you thing is no. It's like I said, back to soccer again. You could have a bad game. Be like, I'm still that nigga. I'm coming back next game and I'm gonna play. And that's what you need. The same thing when it comes to dating. Like I could love a person. This person is not the end all be all of my life. Like if the person gets up and we could have together, might be hurt by it, I'm gonna bounce back. Be like, hey, she want to leave, fight for it. Don't work out. All right.
That situation took out my whole knee, bro. I have no knees to stand up.
That's an ACL.
Not the ACL, the MCL, the back of the knee. The whole. I don't have knees to stand on, bro.
That's an ACL. That's like Achilles, bro.
That's two things you lost, basically. You know.
Yeah, and with the person that I ended up being with after, it wasn't a situation of like you guys always say it was a situation of like, I don't think it was like, I think it was just like, it boiled down to a situation of like, I wasn't ready to open back up. And I, like, again, rushed. I had no knees. I had no meniscus.
Injury, bro.
And I rushed back into the play and I got injured again. So it's like, it's situations like that. So I'm just like, I don't.
You were never healed.
I don't think I still am.
Niggas are real life addicted to love. They just, afraid.
Too scared to open up to it.
Yeah. But to close out with the closing comments about the other podcast, I don't think there's any beef with it. I think actually getting this last part out with you boys helped me a little bit put the situation to bed. And if the clips come out, and because I do know he do be looking at the page from time to time because I could see it. If he ends up seeing this episode, there's no bad blood in there. I just, for what it's worth, for my peace and my mental health, and since I'm the emperor of my own life, I don't feel the need to have a conversation. But like whatever track he goes on, it is what it is. Whatever you're doing is cool. Whatever I'm doing is cool. It's like there's like two separate lanes now, just like not merging. And with what the relationship situations,
you got this, dude.
But I'm just like I'm gonna try to not like talk to more people about it, journal about it, and honestly I've never said this. Take time to reflect as to why I am the issue in the situation, and then we keep it going from there. Y'all got any closing remarks?
You're the issue because you've been hurt, and you're closing yourself off.
But being hurt is not an excuse to be an issue, though.
Yes, it is. It does a lot of damage that you're not aware of.
No. It's not an excuse. But at the same time, it's one of those things as don't look at it as just some part of it, look at it as I'm the issue. Other parts of it as this has happened to me because of other people, what they've done. It's a middle ground of 50-50. Certain things is like, yeah, I'm the reason for that happening. Versus,
Other
nah,
shit,
that shit happened
you just
to me.
can't control.
I'm not. There is no. I'm not at
Yeah.
fault for that one.
So we'll see how that goes. I'll give updates after every 10 episodes, see how far I get. But I think it's been going pretty well. I haven't really like delved into situations as much. Like I've been just been like vibing, cooling. So we'll see how it goes. But y'all got any closing remarks?
Nah.
One of you close.
It was an all-rounded therapeutic conversation. You know, some things went through one ear, the other things, you know, didn't make it through the full brain circulation. But at the end of the day, it was good. We appreciate you sharing stuff from your heart
Facts.
and good stuff, heart
Facts.
to heart.
Yeah,
Good job.
I think we're currently
Black
at 50.
men,
We're
power.
currently at 54 subscribers. So make sure.
Ooh, nigga. Moving exponentially, bruv. Fucking mud blood.
At the rate we're going, it's like we get one subscriber every week we upload. So slow motion is
4 weeks in a year, we moving, bro.
slow motion is better than no motion. So without any further ado, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next episode.